This is the Louis Vuitton Keepall Bandolier number 45, and we're going to review it today. And stay tuned to the very end because I will compare the quality of the canvas and the craftsmanship of this bag to my oldest pieces dating back as far as 2005. So let's get started. We've got some specs here we need to go over. This measures 17.7 inches lengthwise this way, and 10.6 inches from top to bottom, and 7.9 inches in depth. This is going to seem bigger because it does slouch here in the middle. The height that they're talking about is when it's flat on the table. This is in the monogram macassar with the black leather trim and the silver hardware. So this is a Christmas present for my kids. So they had a print put on to the luggage tag here on this side, and then on the other side here is my initials. All right, so let's go over a couple of things. The black leather trim that spans from the front of the bag all the way through to the bottom and onto the other side right here, all of that leather trim that you see here is natural cowhide. It has a nice long leather strap right here. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this just so that it's a little bit easier to wheel this bag around. Let's talk about the strap really quickly because I wanna get that out of the way and get it off my desk here. Again, this is a nice leather strap. This specific Keepall is trimmed with silver metal hardware. This is a natural cowhide. When this strap is attached to the bag itself, the minimum strap drop on the website says that it's 14.2 inches. That's the shortest. And at the longest, it says that it can be as long as 19.7 inches. And you see here on the belt strap that there's plenty of little holes where you can really adjust the strap to your specific height, though. So that's really nice. So you can wear it either as a shoulder carry or a crossbody carry. It just depends on your preference. Now let's look at the strap here. So on these clasps here, this has the Louis Vuitton name engraved on both sides of the metal, and the metal is a really nice heavy metal, and it swivels and it has a nice strong spring, so you're not going to be worried about this detaching or breaking if your bag is heavy and you're trying to carry it by your shoulder. It doesn't seem like this metal is so weak that it would actually break on you. I suppose you could challenge the bag, challenge the weight of the bag and really put a lot of stress on it, but it seems pretty robust enough that it can really take quite a load. And this little leather shoulder pad here is just to protect your shoulder and keep the actual strap from really digging into your shoulder. It's nice and wide, and it actually will spread some of the weight or stress across this pad. And that, again, that's adjustable. You can adjust that to the area where you need the padding to be. I'm going to adjust this to the shortest strap length possible and just see how that would work out as far as placement of this leather piece right here. So now I have it on the shortest length possible. I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the bag itself just so you could see just how far it comes off of the bag. As you see here, it's such a big bag, it's hard to get it all on camera. As you see here, the strap drop, it literally makes this bag a giant shoulder bag because you have the bag so close and high up to your chest that it does become kind of like a big giant Speedy, right? But I don't think I'll ever wear it that way. That's why I have it on the strap here at the mid-length, because I like to wear it as a crossbody. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off again, so that way I can talk about this bag a little bit more. On the handle, there's also a little strap here that has a nice buckle, and it's a thinner leather than the actual shoulder strap. It's a lot more pliable. I would say that the shoulder strap, it's more stiff and a lot harder to work with. This is actually quite pliable, and the idea behind it is when you are traveling, you can keep the two straps buckled together just like this. Although, to be honest with you, I've never done it that way. I find it to be a little fussy, so I often just take this little thing off of the bag. Just to look at this little belt strap here has the Louis Vuitton name embossed onto the leather right there. I'm not sure if it's going to focus. All right, so let's talk about the rest of this bag. So there's a little bit of controversy. I was watching a couple of videos and some people were saying that the canvas of these bags, the ones that are currently being made, are a lot thinner in comparison to some of the older, more vintage bags. So I'll compare some of my older bags later on. The oldest piece that I have is from 2005. We'll compare the quality of the canvas to that one. As far as the zipper is concerned, this zipper is not the smoothest zipper to maneuver. It's pretty hard to open and close. You see how it's like catching? And I found that while traveling, when I have this slipped underneath in the seat in front of me and I need to get something out, I was really fighting with the zipper to try to get it open and closed. You have two zippers, one on each side here, and it does come with a lock as well, which again, I don't ever use. It has the two zippers that meet in the middle. When traveling, because this is not very smooth, it's a real pain in the butt to try to maneuver it open and close when you're in a cramped space like an airplane. On the zipper here, you have double stitching right there on both sides for reinforcement. The zipper is very thick. I have another tote bag. It's one of the first damier canvas, and it's a tote. They don't make it anymore, but I broke the zipper on that and I sent it back to Louis Vuitton to get it repaired. And let me tell you, what a pain in the butt, because I was without a bag for almost 6 months. They had to send it somewhere in New York, and yeah, it was a real pain in the butt. So be careful with your zippers or any pieces of your Louis Vuitton bag, because sure, they'll get it fixed, but you're not gonna have a bag for a really long time. So just to let you know. So this canvas, of course, just like the Speedy, is one piece. So on one side, it's correct, right? You've got the LV, but because it's one piece, when you get to the other side here, it's upside down. Looking at it from the side here, you have a nice black leather trim right here on the side, and the two LVs here match up along with the little flowers and other decorations. Same thing on the other side. Looking at the little silver rivets here, those are all engraved with Louis Vuitton on this side and also on this side. On the inside, those metal little pieces are also engraved with the Louis Vuitton name. So that's pretty much it with regards to the outside. So let's take a look at the inside. So you see on the inside here, the lining on the inside is actually a really pretty maroon color. It's a cotton textile lining. I hope that that translates on the video. It's a dark maroon color, which I think is so pretty. On the inside here, you have a little D-ring to attach any keys or anything like that, key fobs, so you're not losing it in this giant pit of a bag. You see, it's huge. You can fit so much stuff in this bag. My 13-inch MacBook Air fits inside here nicely with a sleeve, along with other flight essentials that I have. I usually will bring a blanket, a little makeup case just in case, a little first aid bag, you know, little things like that, as well as chargers and cords and other essentials. But it fits in here really nicely. It doesn't seem like it's really too compromised as far as size is concerned. So it does work really well as a cabin bag. Anyway, so it has a little slip pocket here, which is quite large. You can fit a lot of things inside there. It's just a little flat pocket there that is zipped, and it is trimmed in leather. The leather trimming is really nice, and it's sewn really well. It's sewn in place, double stitching. On the inside, it looks great as well. Let's just make sure I'm not missing anything on the inside. It's just a big giant duffel bag. That's what it is. It's made very well. I'm not concerned at all with the canvas. Let's do some pros and cons. So as far as the pros, I really like the monogram Macassar because it's a little bit more masculine. I do like that aspect of it, and it's a little bit different than the traditional monogram canvas that you see around. The other thing is that because of the black leather trim, it's less likely to really stain or get dirty. And I'm going to show you some of my older bags that are in that traditional monogram canvas. There's water stains and other damage to it just because I wasn't very good at taking care of my bags back then. The other thing that I really like about this bag, which can be a little bit of a con too, is that it is huge on the inside. As far as using it just for like a weekend travel or just a quick carry-on for an airplane trip, it's really nice because it does fit underneath the seat in front of you, especially like Southwest Airlines. The area underneath the aisle seat is much smaller in comparison to the middle seat and the one by the window. So the other thing that I really like about this too is that this is a coated canvas, so it really is just very minimal care. I've already talked about how much I like having the black leather. It's less likely to stain, but the fact that it is a coated canvas is really nice because it's sort of waterproof. The zippers are not waterproof, but the actual bag is, you know, water resistant, I guess. You know, you could still get a lot of water on the edges of the bag, but as far as overall, the bag is pretty waterproof, if you can call it that, waterproof or water resistant, versus say like a bag like a Vera Bradley duffel bag, which I also have, which those bags are really nice too. However, in a downpour, that thing is going to soak up all of the rain and your stuff will be wet on the inside. I know this because I've been in a downpour in Orlando and my bag has been soaked. This bag also fits my MacBook Air. So I have a MacBook Air 13-inch. I usually will slip that into a foam padded case just for protection if I'm going to put it in a duffel like this. That fits in there nicely, and I just kind of form everything else around it. The MacBook Air, it can fit this way, tall ways this way. This is my MacBook Air. I actually put it in this way, and you'll see that if I put it in here, I mean, it disappears, and you can actually zip the bag over it, and it's not going to stretch the zipper or anything like that. That's the nice part about this bag is that it is so roomy that I can carry my laptop inside here, put a bunch of clothes or other items around it to protect it even more, and everything fits nicely. This is a nice bag to just have all of your things consolidated in one place, and then it fits under that seat. All right, so some of the cons that I don't like about this bag is that it can get so heavy. And I'm sure if you are watching this video, you've watched other videos talking about these duffel bags. It does. It gets so heavy because you will put as much as you can in it. I try so hard not to overpack, yet I still manage to overpack the duffel, and it gets heavy. And so the strap, though I have it as a crossbody, it really digs, and it's heavy and it's cumbersome. You know, you're walking through the airport, you're getting your steps in, and man, let me tell you, at home, it doesn't seem like your bag is heavy at all. But if you're walking all the way across the airport from one gate and to the other into parking lots, it gets really heavy. So I don't recommend it because of that. So if you have very weak shoulders or a weak back, this is not the bag for you because it gets so heavy and so uncomfortable. So this leather strap, although it's leather, it's really thick leather, it's not comfortable at all on your shoulder this way or across your chest. It doesn't matter. You can have this thing as wide as possible, but this thing is so stiff and it's just painful and uncomfortable. And it just, I don't care how cute you think you look walking around with your fancy little bag. I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter how cute you are or your outfit is. If you're not comfortable, that's not cute. I mean, let me tell you, oh God. I ended up having to actually take the bag off of my shoulders, getting my hair caught, and really just carrying it as a duffel through the airport. I mean, talk about getting an arm workout. I don't know, it really gets very heavy. If you decide to buy this bag just for travel, you've been warned. The only way that you can really have this bag, if you're not, you know, a strong man with big shoulders, is if you have another rolling carry-on bag that you can strap this thing on top of. You will need some sort of bungee cord or something to kind of keep it in place, because if you have it nice and full of things, it will fall over. All right, so the other thing, which I originally said was a pro for this bag, is that it is a really big space. That can also be a con, right? Because it is such a big space. When you are in an airplane and the cabin lights are dim, it's really dark and you will never find anything in there. I don't care how many pouches you carry with you, you have to literally, and I've had to do this, and as organized as I am when I travel, I've had to literally pull this whole thing out from underneath the seat, almost out to the aisle, unzip it and pilfer through it and get what I need out of it, because it it is so dark, there's no contrast, you can't really find anything in there. So that's kind of a real pain in the butt. Again, that's restricted to travel like by airplane and you're in that cramped space. The other thing too is the zipper. It's very stiff. It doesn't glide very smoothly. It catches a little bit. You gotta, really work at that zipper to just get it open and go in there and start rifling through your things. And then you try to zip it back up and it just doesn't work. So that's a little bit on the frustrating side. That to me was really annoying. Over time, it'll get a little softer, as far as opening and closing the zipper. But so now that we've gone over the pros and cons and the specs, and I've kind of reviewed the bag for you, I want to compare the canvas of this bag to some of the original Louis Vuitton bags that I have that's in the Monogram Canvas. I'll show them to you. All right, so I have several bags here that I pulled out from my closet and I brought over. This is the pochette. I don't think that they make this anymore. I have a hair tie in there. I got this in 2005 and it's still in great shape. The leather still looks really good. And this is the Boss 4 backpack. This is a Speedy. And the other one that I have that's really old, this is the Batignon. It's a tote. I love this bag. I've beat this bag up so much, but I really love this bag. So I would say that the canvases on all of these is pretty much the same. So I'll just kind of compare that canvas to these just so we have an idea. But this is probably the oldest piece that I have. Let's compare canvas quality. Now, of course, since this is older, this has more of a shine. It has that traditional kind of Louis Vuitton, that shine that you get from the older vintage monogram bags. This is the current, most recent bag. That's a little bit more on the dull side. I haven't really cleaned it. The feel of the canvas is the same. This one is just as thick as this one. I can't say that this newer canvas is much thinner or anything like that. No, it's the same. It's the same thickness in the pochette, the Batignon, and then in comparison to the Boss 4, I would say the canvas is about the same in thickness. It doesn't feel at all any different. Now let's look at some of the stitching. Now I'm gonna use a different bag to compare the stitching. Let's compare the stitching, like the handle. Now the handle on this one is nice and firm and real robust because it's still a very new bag. This one on the Speedy is much softer because I've had this for so long, since 2006. I looked at the date on this one and this is a 2006 Speedy. And you can tell, I mean, the little lock here has patinaed over time, but I love this bag. The only reason I don't use it much is because it doesn't have a shoulder piece to it. Overall, there's not much else to really compare. The quality in the stitching as far as the zipper is concerned here, you've got the double stitch here, just like here. It still looks really good, and I'm really picky when it comes to looking at all of the bags. I mean, I nitpick every little thing, and the stitching on this is just as good and really good quality in comparison to the Speedy here and the pochette, as well as the Boss 4 and the Batignon. They're all like equally good, so I'm not too worried about quality going down. There was a time that I stopped getting or buying any kind of monogram. I think this is the first monogram Louis Vuitton bag that I've gotten in years. Most of the pieces that I have are like the leather, the Mahina or Anthea, which has been discontinued, the Empreinte. I have all of those, so I've kind of shied away from the monogram canvas. And these are just as good in quality. I don't feel that the leather has thinned out or anything like that at all, and it feels really good. Now I brought over 4 pieces of monogram canvases that are considered vintage these days. I can't say that the quality of this one has been sacrificed if you were to compare it to these older ones. It's equally good. If you are on the fence about getting a bag like this should not be your first Louis Vuitton monogram piece, because I will tell you, you're not going to use it that much. Because the minute that you try to travel with something like this and you stuff this thing full and you have to carry it around the airport, throw it in the back of a car, you're going to be pretty annoyed very quickly just because it does get really heavy. I suppose if if you're really strong, then yes, you should have one of these, but I'm really small and not that strong. So this wouldn't be a first pick for me if I were just introducing myself to Louis Vuitton. This is not the piece that I would purchase for myself. I was fortunate enough to get this as a Christmas present. Otherwise, I doubt that I would have gone out of my way to actually purchase a bag like this just for travel, because I would be too afraid of ruining it. It's pretty expensive. I actually have the tag here. I did find the tag for this bag here, and this bag was $2,470. So that should be it as far as the review on this bandolier bag. If you have any questions, please list them down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to be kind to yourself and to those around you, and always remember that the energy you send out always comes back to you. So be positive, stay positive, and be great. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.